All right, we're going to continue with our benchmark unit, okay? Unit 2. And we're still going to be exploring the story of King Midas, okay? And what kind of character traits he may have, or the other character, Dionysus, right? So we're going to work on character traits, okay? And then we're going to be on page 7 of your packet. But first, let's watch this.
Hi, my friends. I am here to talk to you about character traits. What's a character trait? Let's read the poster with Mrs. A. Character traits are aspects of a person or thing's personality or behavior that make him or her unique. Okay, that's a lot of big words. So really, character traits describe a character, describe how they behave, right? A character in a story can be sweet, they can be kind, they can be nice, they can be giving, they can also be mean, rude, angry, frustrated. Those are all character traits, things that describe and tell the reader about how someone behaves or how they are as a person or an animal if your character is an animal. Okay, so let's dive a little deeper. And if you look at my chart here, it shows you how characters feel and behave. So how does my character feel in a story? How do they act? How do they behave in a story? They can be serious. They can be kind. They can be lazy. They can be peculiar. They can be rude. They can be dishonest. They can be stubborn. They can be responsible. They can be cruel. And they can be determined. There's lots of other character traits I could use to describe how a character feels or behaves. These are just a few ideas. So let's go even further and look at a character we all know and love, Pigeon. From the book, Don't Let the Pigeon Drive a Bus. The pigeon wants a puppy. The pigeon wants a hot dog. We all know that pigeon from the books that Mo Willems writes, and our class sure does love Mo Willems. Okay, so if I were to describe how this character behaves or acts in the story of the pigeon books, he is ambitious. This pigeon's got dreams. He wants to achieve some goals. For example, wants to drive the bus, right? Okay, he's a dreamer. He's ambitious. He's a dreamer. He's determined. He is determined to ride that bus. Oh my goodness, right? He's also a little bit dishonest, right? He's like, yeah, I'm telling the truth. My cousin Herb drives the bus almost every day. Not quite the truth. He's a little bit dishonest, right? And he's also really impatient. I want to drive that bus right here, right now. Let me drive that bus, right? So he is a pretty impatient character. These are all character traits that describe the pigeon in Mo Willems' stories. Okay, let's look at another character, Panda, from the book The Panda Problem, which we just read last week. This panda, just look at his facial expression. He's sneaky, right? He's mischievous. He's up to something. He is causing some trouble for that narrator. He's kind of rude, right? He told the narrator, hey guy, looks like you're the one with the problem, not me. And he is uncooperative. He is not doing what the narrator really wants him to do. He's not helping the narrator out in the beginning, especially. And he's also a little bit naughty, right? He's kind of causing some trouble for the narrator. So these would all be character traits that would describe the panda in the story, The Panda Problem. Okay, so this week we have the epic adventures of Huggy and Stick. And I want you to really look at these two characters because they are so different, right? We talked about perspective. These two characters have very, very different perspectives in the story, and they also have different personalities, different ways that they both behave in the story, and they act that make them different from each other. So Huggy, very different from Stick. The way Huggy acts in the story, very different from how Stick acts in the story. So I want you to think about today, what makes these two characters different? Would I use the same words to describe Huggy that I would use to describe Stick? Probably not. So think about today at least 4 or 5 adjectives that would describe Huggy and 4 or 5 adjectives that would describe Stick. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for joining Mrs. A on my mini lesson of character traits. Let's tell the ceiling that real quick. Ready? Look at the ceiling, say character traits. Look at your elbow, say character traits. Look at your belly, say character traits. Look at something close to you, say character traits. And look really close at the screen and tell Mrs. A, character traits. All right, my friends.
Cool. All right, so now we're going to look on page 7, okay, of this packet. Okay, and let's go from there. So it says reread paragraphs 29 to 33. So go, it's on page 18. And let's start with that first, okay? And we want to know what kind of character trait Dionysus has. What kind of person he is. How does he behave?
No! A hungry Midas grabbed the bread. But before he could take a bite, the bread turned to gold. Midas quickly dropped the golden loaf. He picked up a juicy red apple, but it, too, turned to inedible gold. "Oh, no!" cried Midas. "If everything I touch turns to gold, I will never be able to eat. I could starve." Midas looked so upset and worried that Marigold's eyes filled with tears. Marigold ran to comfort her father, and without thinking, Midas hugged his precious daughter. "No!" screamed Midas in despair, but it was too late. Marigold had turned to gold. "Dionysus, please help me," pleaded a weeping Midas. Dionysus heard Midas's cries for help and appeared in the palace faster than it took for a teardrop to roll down Midas's cheek. "What is wrong?" "The wish you granted me is a curse. I see that now. I must rid myself of this terrible power." Dionysus nodded his head. Midas had learned a valuable lesson. "Go to the river and wash your hands. Once you do, things will return to normal," said the god. Midas raced to the river and washed his hands until they were as red as bricks. Then he ran back to his palace chanting, "Please let Marigold be fine." Marigold ran down the stairs and hugged her father. As tears of happiness flowed, Midas made a decision. He would give away any gold left in the treasury at the end of the year, for all that glitters is not always golden.
Yep, it's true. So let's look at this. So Dionysus' character, what kind of character trait do you think he has?
Nice.
Okay, nice. What would be another word for that? Kind. Okay. So you're right, he was nice. Kind. He helped the king, right?
Thoughtless because he hugged his daughter.
No. The other the one that granted him the wish, not King Midas. And okay, possibly independent, who's worked by himself. Caring. Yeah, he was caring.
Thoughtful.
And yeah, he was thoughtful. So any of those would work, right? Okay. Oops, spelled that one wrong. Sorry. Okay. So, but here it says, okay, it says this character trait is revealed through Dionysus' actions. What does Dionysus do? So let's pick one of these. And that should be a letter H like that.
He could be thoughtful.
Okay. But I think I'm going to let's use kind. Because he was He felt sorry for the king, right? Okay, and yeah, he was thoughtful, but ultimately he was kind. It says, what does Dionysus do that shows this character trait? So what did he show? And in paragraphs 29 through 33, what does he do that shows that he was kind? Then it says, find two examples of Dionysus' actions that are influenced by this trait, and then draw a picture. So first, what's one thing that he do in those paragraphs? Lena? Yes. I'm going to write his name down. Dionysus told the king how to get rid of the spell, right? What did he tell him to do?
Wash his hands in the river.
He told him to wash his hands in the river. Okay. So obviously it says then draw a picture of each example. Obviously, then you're going to draw a picture of maybe Midas washing his hands, right? Okay. And then go back to the text. What else did he do? Oh, wait a minute. I know what else he did. So he did tell him, but before that, you notice this?
Dionysus, a hungry Dionysus heard Midas's cries for help and appeared in the palace faster than it took for a teardrop to roll down Midas's cheek.
That kind of shows that he's kind of kind. He rushed to the king's aid, right? He didn't take his time like, sorry, King Midas, maybe I'll come over tomorrow. I'm a little busy right now. Right? So you could say that Dionysus appeared to the king in the palace faster than it took for a teardrop to roll down Midas's cheek. So you could also say that Dionysus came to the king quickly and helped him. So then the picture that I would draw right here, what's a picture that would show that he came to the king very quickly when he was summoned? If your mother calls you, hey, get over here very quickly, hurry, we gotta leave. Are you gonna slowly walk over? No. What are you gonna do? Run. Okay. So you're probably gonna draw a picture of Dionysus doing what? Yes. Okay. And then look at the bottom section. It says, which of the following is true about Dionysus? Well, let's read. He was a mythical creature. Well, we really don't see a picture of him, right? But where? That kind of looks like a mythical creature. He has powers. Where?
See, that's it.
That's him, right?
No, that's not what happened. You passed him. This right here. Right here.
No, I'm not talking about King Midas.
Oh, that's not
I'm talking about him.
That's it. That's a theater.
Oh, that's not him?
No. This is him.
That's him.
Yeah.
This is Dionysus.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. I thought it was the little creature. So he was a mythical. So I guess he's not a mythical creature. He cried for help.
No.
No. Who cried for help?
Midas.
Midas. And the mythical creature was the little character, right? The little guy with horns? Okay. He liked to sleep in the king's garden. No. He was able to grant wishes.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is the one that we would pick. Okay. So go ahead and finish both of these and then draw me the pictures, okay?